Yeah, sometimes he does stroke my leg in the podcast. You've done that once or twice, yeah.
Will Ospreay, part 2.
Yeah, Will Ospreay, part 2.
Hearing Nathan Cruz speak on T, and I was just like, that's from Hull, yes!
Nathan Cruz, if you don't know, is from Hull.
Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Gimme a Hull Wrestling Podcast. My name is Dom and that there is Anthony, and here we are on your screens.
Welcome to our World of Sport review for the 18th of August 2018. That was very energetic, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, I got ready. You allowed me.
It's good.
You allowed me the time to pre-game.
Very good.
Yes, indeed.
Very good.
Might make that a regular thing. Just.
Who knows
intense.
What he'll do next?
Just
to be perfectly
intense.
honest, who knows what he'll do next?
Who the knows?
Women's Championship match first, which was Priestley versus Kaylee Ray.
Indeed.
Started off the show with a female match. Didn't have as much time as it needed, this match.
Nah, man. B impressed me a little bit more today with a level of intensity than she's done in previous weeks. Once again, there was an excellent. The best thing about this broadcast for me was the awesome alliteration from Alex Shane and obviously in SoCal Val as well. Alex Shane in the intro, he refers to a rumble with Rampage. Ooh. With a couple more R's in there, I think, earlier on.
Rolling around on a Rampage with Rampage.
A Rampage with Rampage. And then there was a bevy of brawling beauties by SoCal Val. So that dialogue was definitely pre-prepped, but brilliant. It was really well done.
It was good. I'm enjoying the commentary team. Stu Bennett seemed to play less of a role in this episode on commentary. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which would work better.
Maybe they've been listening to the Gimme a Hull Wrestling podcast.
Or maybe this was filmed weeks ago and they can't change anything now.
That's probably
that's probably more true.
100% the truth.
100% true.
You know, there you go. I like to think that.
Let's talk a little bit about the women's belt. The belts look awesome in World of Sport. They've got a real vintage feel as opposed to that sort of big W corny thing that the WWF have. Yeah. WWE have, sorry. They feel really vintage. I mean, it almost looks like the Intercontinental Championship belt. It looks great. It looks really... Yeah. And Kaylee Ray carries it well. Came in with a sort of coat closed and then opened it up to reveal the belt and say, yeah, I'm the champion. B gets early control in the match with a nice sliding elbow onto Kaylee Ray in the corner. It looked really neat. Yeah,
there's something definitely more interesting about her character for me this week, for sure.
It's probably because she had a bit more of a stage as opposed to it being Viper and Kaylee Ray, which it sort of felt like in the last match, I'd say.
I don't really feel like Kaylee Ray, the character work for her, for me personally, isn't there.
Okay. Cool. I like it. I know what you're saying. I don't think they've given them time to develop the characters yet, I suppose. Yeah, so you're wanting more.
I wanted more from them, yeah. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
There's a couple of interesting characters on there.
But they're clearly
now.
building up to that with this the ending to this match. When B gets to the top rope, she's met by Kaylee Ray, but ends up with a double foot stomp onto Kaylee Ray, which looked really good.
Yeah,
it was a really nice move.
Real good.
It felt more powerful than a lot of them. I mean, Sasha Banks, for example, does it a lot in WWE, but she does it with a double knees.
I can't remember the last time it looked as venomous as that, as intense as that. I mean, Alberto Del Rio used to do it, and that wasn't great.
The biggest problem I have with the move is the other wrestler when they have to sit up to get straight. Sometimes that can look really contrived and really telling. Kaylee Ray, I thought, did a great job of making it look like all she was doing is struggling to get back up to meet her on the top of the turnbuckle. Alberto Del Rio, I'd definitely say, and it's not his fault; it's his opponent's, because it was such a big move in his moveset.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the same with Randy Orton's DDT off the rope. You know, you can see it being set up at sometimes, and that's really frustrating. But this, I thought, was done really nicely. Another mention of Will Ospreay here by the commentary team again. Thank you for that. But we really don't need to know who her boyfriend is. She's awesome by herself.
It referenced that, and I was like, it doesn't.
I think they did mention it during Will Ospreay's match as well.
They did. They did absolutely. Yeah.
The two fight on the outside of the ring, leading to a suicide dive from Ray, but we can't really see it due to the camera angles. That was a bit frustrating. And then Viper comes down and attacks both Kaylee Ray and B. Priestley. Okay, cool. So we've got the girl, the dominant heel, come down, beat up the two that are in the ring. That's fine. Did you notice that a guy in the audience had a Demons t-shirt on at this point as well?
Demons.
Do you know the old film Demons?
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Oh man, it's a great t-shirt. Anyway, yeah. So sorry, I got distracted by the t-shirt. I bet you did at home. Those Demon fans out there.
Yeah, I did notice a Cesaro t-shirt in the.
Yeah, there's a Warrior
so
one as well.
Clearly, they're not that bothered on security or anything.
There's a Warrior one that during all the sort of UV segments is like bright.
Nice.
You can see it glowing. It's cool. So yeah, Viper comes down, and then someone else comes down to meet Viper. Who was that?
Yeah. I wasn't into. I didn't catch. I didn't catch
her name either.
Yeah, I didn't catch her name on that one, but really intimidating kind of performer. I'll find out and do a little bit of research as you carry on. But yeah, just really looked fantastic. Like kind of a.
She looks great,
kind of
like an Ember Moon.
Like an Ember Moon or a Jax from ECW. Very very intimidating.
Yeah.
Like a Jacqueline type vibe. You didn't want to, definitely didn't want to mess with her. She looked like a dominating force.
I think she looked great. But the problem is they didn't really introduce us to her, who she was, which is why I haven't sort of researched who it was, because actually I sort of feel like we should have been told, but I didn't
the name was referenced.
Was it? I didn't catch it at all. And then, so she gets down into the ring and then suddenly starts attacking Viper, which is fine. So this is the good guy coming to save Kaylee Ray and Bea Priestley, and I respect that. And then suddenly Kaylee Ray and Bea Priestley start attacking both her and Viper. So I didn't really get the dynamics of it. I guess that the explanation is this is why they're moving on to a fatal four-way as opposed to teaming up against Viper.
Her name was Aisha, but other people don't know too much about her. So yeah, Aisha was the wrestler.
Right, I didn't catch Aisha.
Let me do a little bit of research on Aisha.
Cool. So Bennett's called for an over-the-top rope battle royale for the women's title next week. It feels a little extreme to be going into a title match for an over-the-top rope battle royale. Wouldn't you agree, Dom?
Perhaps.
It's a little.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they going to do it with Viper? How is Viper not going to win that match? And then is that fair for Kaylee Ray?
Yeah, it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't really put them in the. Put them in good stead, I think, for an entertaining battle royal. I think automatically people can assume that Viper's going to win.
I mean, obviously you can sort of get Viper out by nefarious means, but it's still, because it's for the women's title, as opposed to it being for opportunity at the title or something like that, it feels like the stakes are probably too high. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't think that was mentioned as being on next week, so we'll have to see if it's the week after. Just
a note: the Amazon Aisha Raymond was the wrestler.
Very good.
Yep. So there you go. A little bit of intro there.
Awesome.
She's also competed in the Mae Young Classic.
Oh, she competed in the Mae Young Classic. That's awesome.
So that's
I can't remember.
That's pretty great.
Cool.
There's probably more, but I'm sure we'll come to her in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll come to her in a few weeks.
If you want to do some research, it's the Amazon Aisha Raymond.
Cheers, Dom. Then we have an interview with Grado and Bennett. Bennett says he only smartened up for 3 minutes in the match before ripping his clothes off and doing a strip in the middle of the ring. He didn't say that, I just embellished it. Grado says that he won the match though, which was a fair point, and Bennett says that he's lucky because he needs a spot in the tag team tournament because one person's pulled out. If he can find someone to wrestle with him, that'll impress Bennett. I'm quite liking Grado's storyline.
Yeah, man, I'm digging it. I'm digging it more and more.
That and Bennett is working really well.
I've completely U-turned on a few of these people recently, great. Man. Grado, I'm digging it. I'm digging Grado. All of a sudden, like it didn't, I don't know. Actually, maybe I said I liked the first thing and the comedy. It was the comedy of the first week.
Yeah,
and
you
said
comedy.
You didn't have a thing for it, but like I definitely dig it.
I know. I've always liked the comedy. I think it's great. You was talking about him in TNA before. The
comedy, the British comedy wrestling. Because oddly, there's oddly, it just doesn't translate quite as well. The British wrestling comedy in an American setting.
Do you reckon that's
Joe Hendry's in there now, though? Joe Hendry's in TNA now.
Do you reckon that's because of American writers not getting the British sense of humour and not letting?
And that is definitely a thing. That is definitely there's very few, obviously, cultural barriers and things between British and American for very obvious reasons. But the comedy thing in terms of our sense of humour, which is very dry and very, the American sense of humour is a little I don't want to be controversial.
Whatever you say is going to be controversial here, so get it out.
Perhaps a little more immature in places.
Immature? Immature humour?
I don't know. I mean,
I'd say that American humour isn't as sarcastic. I wouldn't necessarily say immature.
I've spent a bunch of time in the US, and like I say, maybe less sarcastic is a better way to put it.
Thank you.
But you've said some terrible things on this podcast. That's probably the least controversial thing we've ever said.
Yeah, but you said immature American humour.
No,
you basically just said that.
But I didn't say it all across the board.
You did. You said American as a whole.
Sure, did I?
No, he didn't.
Exactly.
But I don't
very careful. You have to be very careful these days, Anthony. 1 minute it's an immature American joke, and the next minute it's an F word that means we can't get on YouTube. You have to be careful.
So I'm really enjoying Grado's storyline. I like the fact that he's facing the authority figure, but it's with a nice mix of comedy. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was watching this is that sort of WWE authority angle that sort of it become very serious and very much a case of so let's talk about Daniel Bryan's authority storyline. There was not much comedy in that. That was about Daniel Bryan, the underdog, being now Grado's an underdog, but with the authority angle, it's just a lot more comedy.
I was thinking a little bit about this, like, because you know how everybody does it, and we're talking, we're just researching Will Ospreay and stuff, and you imagine people in a WWE setting, and I was thinking about whether Grado would work in a WWE setting at all.
Potentially.
In any way.
Oh, yeah, potentially, I think. But
I hate that we do.
Are we on about his character now?
Yeah, I hate that we do this because obviously we're here and we're celebrating British wrestling, but we fantasy book these wrestlers, these brilliant British wrestlers in a WWE setting because it's perceived as, right now anyway, it's perceived as the gold standard for wrestling or whatever.
Yeah, well, they're the biggest company in the world, so I mean...
Want to shout out to Stu, who's just joined us on Facebook. Hey, buddy, good to see ya. Thanks for keeping us company. You do, don't you? And I kept thinking to myself, how would Grado work? Would it be a Santino Marella type vibe where he's literally just a joke every week?
But I think that if that comedy role's done right, then it could be decent on the card.
It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I mean, R-Truth's still got a job.
Exactly.
And he's
look at Elias. Elias is one of them characters that, again, is sort of a little bit out there in terms of character, but he's still doing great.
But he's not jobbing, is he? And you don't.
No, but I don't think Grado necessarily would job. It depends how they take the character. This sort of thing that they're playing now is quite interesting. If they're to put him as a no way Jose... sort of loses every match and just a joke, then it won't work. It depends. I mean, humorous things have worked in the past in WWE. Look at Team Hell No, going back to Daniel Bryan again. That was all about the humour, really, of Daniel Bryan and Ken. And they were tag team champions and did great. In many respects, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, again, a humorous tag team that do really well. And the B team even. So I think Grado could potentially... I think Grado would be a wonderful tag team wrestler, actually. I think he'd be wonderful in WWE.
I'm thinking in a WWE setting, but as a tag team wrestler, we've seen how good he is later on in this pay-per-view.
So we'll say hello to people on Facebook. Hey, Stu, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are streaming this live on Facebook, and if you want to join us on Facebook, you can do that. And we'll be live streaming where you can join in the chat if you agree or disagree with anything. I'm sure Stuart will let us know.
Facebook.com/gimme for those on YouTube.
And you can also find us on Twitter and Patreon as well.
Indeed.
And if you want any merchandise, head over to Redbubble.
Indeed, you can find... Well, we haven't got our T-shirts on today. Wow.
We don't, man.
Mine's in the wash, but we've got the mugs.
Yours is in the wash every week, man.
We've got the mugs.
Your T-shirt wash would never change.
I can't, no, honestly, I came in it the other week. There's video documentation.
Mine is genuinely in the wash.
Mine is actually genuinely in the wash.
Oh, very good, very good. Please join us on all them. Check out our Patreon, and if you're watching the video and enjoying us still, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe down below.
Indeed.
Next up, we have Will Ospreay versus Martin Kirby.
Yeah, man, massive momentum killer for Kirby, but that's
really. I thought he was. He did
an amazing job,
man.
But in terms of the result,
man. So on this podcast, if you've been watching the last 4 weeks, we feature a wrestler in each episode, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. We almost stupidly this week decided to talk about Will Ospreay. The reason that'd be a stupid thing is because there's a lot of research to go through there.
Yes.
He's a very talented dude.
One of the most popular people who isn't, who doesn't have a WWE career under his belt already in terms of international travel.
He will have a WWE.
We were talking about this in a very similar kind of AJ, I think, to AJ Styles, where he could probably in a few years, 5 to 10 years even.
Not even that.
Not even that, maybe.
They want him now. They will be looking at getting him now.
But you know what I mean? It's one of those things where he could have that kind of career where he does everything outside of the WWE, and then, people think it's never going to happen, but then it eventually does.
Yeah.
Same with Zack Sabre Jr., to be fair.
Yeah.
So there's
loads. Kenny Omega, Marty Scurll. There's all these guys that are massive at the minute.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay is one of them, and he's in the same sort of league. His name is massive. He was a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, which he won his debut match against Bobby Fish. There's a lot of awesome names in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Progress Champion, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and WCPW Tag Team Champion. He also won the Best of the Super Junior tournaments in Tokyo. Do you know who was won that in the past, Dom?
A number of excellent people.
Do you want to hear some names, Dom?
Go on.
Finn Balor.
Nice.
Kota Ibushi.
Nice.
Ricochet.
Nice.
Kushida.
Nice.
Chris Benoit.
Beautiful.
I mean,
well,
that's
not as a human being. Well, it depends on what you believe. Not as a human being.
He mentioned the Chris Benoit name.
In terms of a technical wrestler,
incredible
in a wrestling setting,
and
incredible.
all of them names are incredible wrestlers, and so that's the sort of standard that Will Ospreay is at the minute, which is incredible.
He was infamously one of the things, because obviously I know you've done a lot of good research. I watched a video a few years back, actually. I think it was a few years back, and that was kind of how I first discovered him. Paul Heyman does a video called he does a sort of video podcast thing and a podcast thing called the Heyman Hustle, and he was doing a tour a few years back.
He's doing a tour in the UK,
and he offered it wasn't a WWE contract, but it was a contract. It was billed as a way for him to wrestle in the US, to an
It was for Evolve, and Evolve already have a relationship with WWE, so they're sort of crossing a lot of talent, and Evolve has almost become the developmental prior to NXT in a way, but they're also putting on their own shows, which can be quite exciting. And Paul Heyman did offer him a contract for this, stating that this contract would also not affect his New Japan terms. Now, a lot of contracts that are offered by WWE would be offered on the bravado that you don't wrestle with any other company. And Paul Heyman was offering him this, saying it's okay to continue this contract. I think that sort of shows how far WWE want to get him, and it never actually happened because of the New Japan contractual stuff, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that is amazing. That shows how on the radar Will Ospreay is on WWE.
Definitely, yeah. An incredible performer.
He trained at the London School of Lucha Libre, and when he was younger and wrestling on a trampoline on his garden, he was called Extreme Dude.
Nice. Very similar to the Hardys.
But it is quite similar to certainly Jeff in the sort of high flying ability. Yeah. But then he changed his name to the Aerial Assassin, which was a reference to the Assassin's Creed games, and that sort of stuck with him now, and they're still using that now. And it's to help him stand out from the rest of the British UK wrestling high flyers, and it's a good name. He's in a relationship with Bea Priestley. Did you know
that? Have we heard that before?
He had a feud with Vader. You know about this?
Vader, as in Big Van Vader,
Big Van Vader, baby,
famous WWE legend Vader. Excellent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they did. Vader put out a tweet basically saying that his match was incredible acrobatics, no story, regarding one of his matches, and it ended up in a bit of a feud, which ended up actually playing out in the ring. When it came to the match, Ospreay was supposed to go over on Vader. Vader decided the night before that wasn't going to happen and refused to do it unless Vader won, which is just mental, because what was Vader going to get at this point in his career out of burying Ospreay? But he did, which is a shame, really. But the other types of names that he's fought, just for those that are like more WWE fans, are people like Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne, Rich Swann, Zack Sabre Jr., who's also incredible British talent, Noam Dar, AJ Styles he's fought with. He really is in them names of talents, and his matches are amazing.
There's too much, though. One of these names has to give in terms of, you can't have Marty Scurll, Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. They're not going to all happen in the next 5 years, 10 years, which is ideal.
It's all going to shift around.
It'd be very interesting to see which one of those elite, pardon the phrase, obviously you've got the Young Bucks in there as well.
Yeah.
Which one of them gets through? You'd love to see them all.
You know who I think will be the first one? I think it'll be Ospreay first. I think Ospreay has...
Do you think he's the most... I think he's obviously also the most... He's the most... he's been primed by Paul Heyman, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's had the most connection, I think.
The only reason I think that is because I think he's such a massive fan of AJ Styles and AJ Styles' career that I think he'll move forward with that and sort of develop that further. And seeing what AJ Styles has been treated like in WWE, if he can get that same treatment, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can see him now on Ring of Honor, New Japan and Frontline Wrestling. He's also been awarded 3 5-star matches by the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer. That is really impressive.
Well, it depends on what you think of Dave Meltzer, really, doesn't it?
To get 5-star ratings by any sort of reviewer for matches is a good... Dave Meltzer, he hands out a lot of stars. He's got 3 of them.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about this earlier. Based on people's. I like the fact that we have an opportunity to talk on YouTube and talk on Facebook about
give our
wrestling.
Opinions. Yeah,
we give our opinions. As much as I appreciate that the Wrestling Observer is an incredible and credible publication, I feel like people judging, unless you can do backflips, front flips, and spins out the ring, and we give ratings to pay-per-views and overall pay-per-views, but I'm not going to rate. But
we also rate performers. I think we're doing... Right, here's my argument to it. I think we're doing exactly the same thing that Dave Meltzer is doing in terms of we are commentating on people's wrestling style and ability and giving them a star rating based on that. The difference between us and Dave Meltzer is Dave Meltzer's been doing it for 30 years as it's happened. And actually, I think that to look back at Dave Meltzer's star rating system is actually an interesting way of looking at what people were thinking at the time. If you look at Dave Meltzer's star rating for the Undertaker versus Undertaker match, it was awful. And actually, when you go back and watch it, you can see why it was awful.
I appreciate
But then Brett and Owen, do you get what I'm saying?
I feel like he sticks his nose in sometimes.
I think he does, but then we are. In this wrestling podcast, we're doing exactly the same. If we had the same sort of credentials that Dave Meltzer did, then people would be arguing about us.
I feel like perhaps we're a little bit more respectful, but anyway, that's just my point of view.
What, saying immature American humour?
It's all down to opinion, Anthony.
The 3 5-star matches. So one is a match with him, Matt Sydal, and Ricochet versus Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. One was a match with him versus Kushida, and one was him in a match against Marty Scurll. The guy's 25. The guy is on the same sort of level as Gargano and Ciampa in putting on these matches with these incredible talents. And, you are looking at other names like Ricochet, Adam Cole, Marty Scurll, stuff like this. But that is incredible. And I think that sometimes the Meltzer system can be a good indication of where people are going to go.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
I have my own opinion. He
was awarded Best Flying Wrestler in 2016 and 17 as well.
This is now the Gimme a Whole Will Ospreay podcast.
It is. There's some interesting stuff there. We're going to move on to...
Will Ospreay Part 2.
Yeah, Will Ospreay Part 2. I started watching the match and then remembered that we had the British Bulldog Jr. in the first Will Ospreay match, and I thought it was quite strange that we haven't seen British Bulldog Jr.
Indeed.
Isn't that strange?
That is weird. I wonder when we will see him again.
Well, I know we see him later on in the episode, but genuinely, he was such a big name. I expected him to be a bigger part of it. I mean, Joe Hendry's been on every show. Martin Kirby's been on 3 out of the 4, I think.
Both Zack Sabre and Bulldog Jr. have slightly more international commitments.
But they filmed it over 4 days anyway.
I do feel like they might have had other things to be doing, but that's just my opinion.
Maybe so. Yeah, I think the thing is they can't guarantee him for season 2, probably.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more what it's about. The speed of them both in the ring is so impressive. Also, the way they use the ring ropes, bouncing off them, bouncing each other off them, while supporting each other's weight was really, really interesting. A cracking Hurricanrana takedown was amazing, and then a nice backbreaker from Kirby, showing the speed and ease that they can create the spots with was really impressive.
Yeah, Kirby was good too. He had some nice heel moments, very good counters as well. Like,
yeah.
Really, felt like he had Ospreay's number.
Yeah,
that he'd obviously researched, and they've probably wrestled hundreds of times.
They have, yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? It felt like it was a great dynamic.
The two really played well off each other too, because it's okay saying Will Ospreay is amazing. That's going to be a great match. You need another wrestler who is also a good wrestler or great wrestler. Yeah. I think Martin Kirby is that guy, and I think this was better than way better actually than the Davey Boy Jr. match, which was an impressive match on the first show. So, and over the top rope, 619. It was like a modified 619 where he sort of, instead of going through the middle, goes over the top. Yeah. Thought that was really interesting. A nice, unique take on a popular move. Like it. Kirby delivers a fisherman's driver, nearly putting down Ospreay for the three count. An amazing moment where Ospreay flips backwards off Kirby before landing an insecurity. That was great, man. I mean, they really do use each other's bodies in a way, and for Kirby to have the strength, if you've got someone pushing back off you to do a backflip, you've got to stand strong there. And I talked about this with the Davey Boy match, but Martin Kirby is a lot smaller than Davey Boy Smith Jr., but he still was able to stand his ground and work with Ospreay, which was great.
I feel like it was a really nice moment. There was a bunch of really nice moments there, and I feel like Kirby, like you say, I feel like Kirby had a great match, but unfortunately his momentum was killed, and that's the only.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
In terms of the programming, but a great match overall, yeah. It
would have been great to see Kirby win. The Spanish Fly. Let's talk about that Spanish Fly. I mean, it looked incredible.
It can be done really well. I mean, I think on mainstream in WWE television it was done a few times.
Did Sami Zayn used to do it a few times?
I think he's done it before. It was a finishing move for Paul Burchill.
Okay, never knew that.
The pirate Paul Burchill. And he was good at it, but he wasn't Will Ospreay good at it.
Right, no, I mean, it doesn't look like it's humanly possible. We're reviewing this the day after watching NXT TakeOver, and these sort of moments in this match were as credible as anything that we saw that night.
Absolutely, yeah. This could have hung. This match particularly could have hung on the NXT TakeOver card.
Easily. Kirby goes for his Zoidberg elbow, and Ospreay jumps up to the height of the second top rope, so with Kirby stood on it, to do a Hurricanrana to flip him off. I mean, that is incredible. How do you jump that high,
Amazing.
Land on someone's shoulders, and pull them off?
I could,
No, you couldn't. And neither could I, Dom. It's incredible. Yeah, it's mental.
Some of your phrasing here is excellent. But you could, if you practiced, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people. But if you practice to the level Will Ospreay could do, I genuinely believe.
I practiced and lost 700 pounds.
I genuinely believe you could do these things. You're an exceptional human being.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
You do some amazing things with your life, and if you practice to Will Ospreay level, you could do that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Believe in yourself more. Believe
in
Anth.
Oh, Dom, you've been very
Well, it's the truth, man. I've we were talking before the podcast, how you compare yourself to others, and I feel like it's I know everybody does it, but
motivational speaking,
I feel it's very unhealthy to do sometimes, and I think that as a podcast partner and as a friend, in most cases, even though you can be a miserable person, and you can also, be the heel of the team. You are a wonderful human being, and I think you're my, you fly for me like Will Ospreay, and you motivate me as much as you're motivated by Will Ospreay's counter to the Zoidberg elbow. That's how much you motivate me.
That's awesome.
As excited as you were by that move, I'm excited by you when we do these podcasts.
That's awesome.
Proper motivates me. Anyway,
do you want to do a heart symbol?
Oh yeah. Somebody it was
Don't
Danny.
Be stupid.
Danny at C4DI wanted to see that. We should put that.
Maybe one day it will happen.
Maybe.
It has happened. It did happen the first time we did it, but it's never happening again. But nice motivational stuff. I enjoyed it. The modified spinning neckbreaker type thing, was that what it was to end the match by Ospreay? It was
like an F5, but not. But like it was like an F5 or like
with a neck breaker
like a
in
Dunn,
it,
almost like a Pete Dunne thing. Oh man, it was incredible.
Like,
hey,
how
Russ,
do you do that?
Wow, Russ Brown has just joined. I haven't seen Russ in years, mate. I hope you're doing all right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you. Hope everything's cool.
An incredible
Cheers.
match. It was really a league above everything else. Ospreay was amazing and shows why in this match that Kirby was a great talent to work it with. I agree with you. I think it was sad for Kirby to get lost here.
Because, I mean,
would have liked
so much momentum going into, you had that cheat win over Joe Hendry. And he won the week before, the tag team, the betrayal.
Yes.
He was, it was me booking this, you know how we love to do a bit of Gimme a Hull, gay booking. And I'd book him as a top heel. I'd book him as the top heel or one of the top heels.
Absolutely.
Next to Ramage. But his momentum, as far as I'm concerned, was killed by. If he'd have won this, people would have been like, "What the heck?"
Who won out of the first match? Do you remember, Davey Boy or Ospreay?
It was Ospreay. No, it was Davey Boy. First. It was Davey Boy first.
Now here's the issue: if you give this one to Kirby again, then the next match with Ospreay becomes
Ospreay doesn't need
someone.
It,
I know Ospreay doesn't need it whatsoever.
Ospreay may as well be enhancement talent here because he's
pretty damn good enhancement talent.
Yeah, but his skill. You know what I mean? Like he's doing this because he wants to support British wrestling.
Absolutely,
he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the fame. He doesn't need anything else. You know.
But also within the context of the program, you can't have Ospreay lose every time. So I don't know what's coming in the future for Ospreay on World of Sport. I'm pretty sure that he will have another match. If he'd lost all 3 matches going into this third match, he wouldn't be as strong as he is going into it now.
Agreed.
So maybe it's for the rub of the next match. You know, if we sort of look at it a bit longer term booking. But I thought both men looked incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
Absolutely.
Stu Bennett joins Grado in the ring for the last quarter-final in the tag team tournament. Calls out who Grado and his partner will be facing, which is Robbie X and Kratos.
If this had gone well for them, spoiler alert, it would have been great because I think they're a great team. It would have been a great team, the dynamic between the two of them. I actually didn't really understand. I know what it's trying to set up and a little bit of a mini rivalry or whatever, but I really didn't understand this ending. You know, if you'd have interfered for me to help me out,
it was weird.
I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been like, yo, what are you doing? I'd have been like, cheers, mate, give him a low blow while you're at it. Thanks, we'll win the match. I'd be like, all right, bud, cheers.
All right, bud.
But Robbie X seems to take offence because obviously, you know, he's being a babyface or whatever. But you know, so this match, I thought was really entertaining. So you know, Grado's out there.
So Grado announces his partner as Davey Boy Smith. So Davey Boy Smith comes to join him, which, as I say, I was talking about earlier. Like, I was surprised that we hadn't seen Davey Boy for a while. So this is how they're using him, which is fine. Great attacks himself early on in the match, and although Grado squares up against him, which was really quite funny, he tags in Davey Boy joining.
He said that something like, he's like, nope, and then just like,
You would, wouldn't you? Grado doesn't move anytime any moves are done to him.
Grado tags back in.
He does,
He tries to do it and goes flat on his face, you know. Or flat on his back, rather.
He does, yeah. And Grado shoulder barges Crater, but he doesn't move either. Bulldog comes in and knocks him back far enough for Robbie X to get the tag. Robbie X comes in. We've talked about Robbie X in the ladder match before and how sort of entertaining it was by him.
Really talented.
He was good in this match.
Remove the mask, you know. Remove the mask, or get rid of the beard. But like in terms of an image thing,
we can't say get rid of the beard. Look at us. We're like Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman.
But like I feel like. You know, I feel like he's an incredible talent. But looking at the guy with the mask, like he doesn't need the mask. He needs to be like, I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of Robbie X. I'm a huge fan of his talent.
It was great.
But then again, I'm a product of WWE. I'm a product of you know, chiseled, you know, like, you know, sports entertainment.
You are Vince McMahon.
I'm a product of sports entertainment, isn't it? So if I see a character and I'm like, oh, he doesn't look right. He doesn't look like I'm imagining a guy like that to be.
Crater,
no, I'm talking about well, to be fair, I could do the same for Crater as well. You know, but Robbie X, one of the best talents without doubt on that whole roster, but just doesn't look legit to me.
No, I agree. It's the mask. It's cheap. It's a cheap mask.
Does it like this? I'm really
There's not
sorry.
Enough detail in the mask.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really sorry, Robbie X. But it just cheapens. Like you say, I think you said it. It cheapens his performances for me because you know you just can't take it.
I know what you're saying.
I don't want to sound like a muppet here, but like,
well saved.
It just. I can't take him seriously.
No, I know what you're saying.
That's what I mean.
But it's the same in the WWE. When you get someone in an outfit that doesn't look right and doesn't suit them, it cheapens everything about it. You know, unfortunately, that happens. That's just one of them things. Bulldog comes in and knocks him back far enough for Robbie X to get the tag. He's flipping all over the ring, Robbie X. I mean, he really puts a lot of work into this match. A real nice dynamic. I thought the dynamic between Robbie X and Crater could work at this point. The sort of big guy and the acrobatic flippy guy. I thought that would have been cool if it didn't end in the way it did. Bulldog does a nice holding vertical suplex, and Robbie X, man, selling the facial expression.
Yeah, man, and the feet
upside down, camera
in
goes
the air,
into it.
he's like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, obviously this would. I mean, obviously upside down. So if this was me, if I was Robbie X, I'd be like, whoa.
It was great. It was
obviously,
funny.
It wasn't me,
what
but
he was supposed to be.
I mean, I kind of look. If I'd put a mask on, could probably do it.
Yeah, or a big sock over your head, because that's what Robbie X's mask looks like. Grado is having fun, dancing around the ring. Some funny moments where Robbie X goes to German him, but Grado like dead weights himself so that he can't lift him before sort of shrugging off while his sort of feet are just off the ground. I thought that was really funny. And here's an issue I noticed, and I'll talk about that later. When Crater gets back into the ring, he dominates Grado, but really didn't stay in long enough to have sort of lasting impact, in my impression. Robbie X seems to be doing all the work with Crater, starts shrugging off the tag. I didn't get why. We'll talk about that at the end of the match. Davey Boy sends Robbie X hurtling over the top rope, only to be caught by Crater, who slams him down to the mat.
He's not impressed. Like I said, we talked about the kind of the weird dynamic. You know, like I said, Crater whacks. You know, Crater interferes, and most everyone, even if you're a face team, if your partner interferes, it's cool. Like, cheers for the help.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be like, "Oh, mate," you know.
It just didn't. The whole story of Crater and Robbie X just didn't play out very well. It wasn't explained.
It was the first time I think I've ever seen anything like that, where a guy complains about being helped in that way. Yeah. Like, obviously, you know, cheapening the win is okay to get annoyed at.
Yeah.
But like, it was just a forearm.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. It wasn't explained. Grado eventually gets his Grado cutter and pins Robbie X. Crater then comes into the ring.
By the way, this whole time is his back turned, so he doesn't leave.
No, he just sort of stands with his back on the top of the ring. Grado gets his
quite intimidating. Like, do you know what I mean? If I walked in here, right, and you had your back turned to me and just stayed there, I'd be freaking out a little bit.
I'm a big guy. I'm very hairy.
You are.
But I ain't Crater.
No, but I'd still be like, what's going on?
But I did that earlier when you come in, when I was just like,
but it wasn't you were ignoring me. You weren't about to like power slam me.
I was just making a cup of tea.
Exactly, you know.
Was you intimidated by my back?
No, because
staring a cup of tea?
No, because you couldn't hear me because you had like the extractor fan on, so that was why. But you know, I feel like if somebody turns, it's like there's a Mighty Boosh reference for those that ever watch that. There's a bit where Naboo turns his back. He's like, I have to turn my back on you now, and it's that symbolism of having your back turned on you. Like, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I get that. That's cool. If he'd have just, you know what I mean. If like, but then, you know, marching back to the ring, you know, and having like. It was weird. This whole thing was a bit weird. But there was a nice little moment for the kids and the families where you had Grado and Bulldog rally around.
You know,
rally
so what
around
happens
him.
is Crater comes in to attack Robbie X for, again, a reason that we just explained. And Davey Boy and Grado stand next.
It's because he went,
Robbie
mate,
X.
why are you helping me out?
No, there was no talking.
You're just my tag team partner. No, he did.
Weird.
No, he did.
I know what you mean.
He did. No, he did. He went, what are you doing?
Weird.
If you notice, he's like, what are you doing? He tags himself. Crater tags himself in.
Yeah.
And Robbie X was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right, okay, so that's fine. Okay, cool. I just didn't get it, and again, I feel like they're wasting this Crater character, like, big time. The one other thing I wanted to mention in this match was about the ring mat. The ring mat was really not very tight, so especially when Crater, when you've got this bigger guy standing on it, first of all, you could sort of see how cushioned it is, which WWE do hide quite well at times.
Yeah.
This wasn't, and you could certainly see like ruffles in the ring mat. Like, it just needs to be tightened out and different fabric. I think it looked more of a velvety fabric in terms of a really tight fabric.
It was, I mean...
Stuff like that.
Little things...
I notice it, man.
Yeah, little things that, I mean, you're going to notice as well because you do tech and theatre, but, like, you definitely notice subtle differences here. And again, it's almost like our... I was making a comparison that I won't make on air, but, like, I think our wrestling dopamine levels are, like, super high. You get these matches, and we'll watch SummerSlam later, and we'll be like, yeah, this is amazing, and then we'll come back down to World of Sport, but we'll want. Okay, so we've just watched. I know it was weird because obviously it depends on how you watched it, but like I watched World of Sport first, and then I watched NXT. Yeah, and you watch the Velveteen Dream, and you're dope, and everything goes. Oh, you're like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
That didn't look good, dude. That looked like he was getting really excited.
That's the reaction I get for Velveteen Dream.
Is it?
Yeah,
baby, he's gonna love you. Say my name.
Just get excited.
Say my name.
You just get excited, but then I'll tell you for nothing that Crater just doesn't give me the same reaction.
So you don't get off on Crater.
Well, I'm not saying I get off on anybody.
That's what it looked like when he was talking about the Velveteen Dream.
Getting excited, man. Enthusiasm. I get emotional. Great. Like I nearly cried when Gargano got buried last night. Yeah. I was getting proper like tears. But that's what I'm saying. Our levels. I was so like WWE, and you come down
Will
to
Ospreay was amazing. Like that was
Will Ospreay was WWE.
That was good, yeah.
Will Ospreay was WWE level excited.
Let's say hello to some people who have joined us in chat. Gareth Hayward and Susan Renee.
I missed.
Susan Renee says, "Hey guys, glad to catch you again and hear the updates."
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us, Suzanne. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to join in the Facebook chat, hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah, man. We're trying to interact. Obviously, it's only worth doing if whether it's one person or 500 people, whatever. It's worth doing if people are watching. So, thank you. We really appreciate your opinions and stuff as well. So, anything like that,
let us know.
Come on board.
Interview with Rampage, but obviously if Rampage says nothing, Shah Samuel says it in his East End accent. Rampage is getting bigger and stronger.
Is that you, Mag?
You Mag? Yeah, talking to the camera. I quite like this promo.
Yeah, it was nice.
I thought it was the best Shah Samuel's promo that we've seen so far.
I've still not sold on him.
I still wish that Rampage was talking as a champion.
I think it serves to legitimize him. I feel
having a group.
I feel like if we were a wrestling duo, and you were my Paul Heyman, it would legitimize me as a performer, as a genuine hopeful, genuine bottom kicker. If you were there talking me up, or equally if I was talking you up,
maybe.
And you were like this, you just stood there,
but I just
looking hard.
I get that, but it doesn't. Here's the problem with it, right? At the minute, it doesn't feel like Rampage is the one in control of that situation.
It feels like
what you're saying is what you're saying is Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, right? Which is great, but Brock Lesnar feels like he's in control of Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman is speaking for Brock Lesnar.
But then I feel like the more this happens, the more we'll get that vibe off Rampage.
Maybe so. But I do think I'd like to see a Rampage thing. I think we've said hi to Gareth Hayward as well, who's joining us. If we haven't, hey man.
We have said hi to Gareth, and I've said hi to Russell. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Russell. Next match, Justin Sizem versus Adam Maxted and Joe Hendry makes things better.
I'm like you. I think you sort of preempted this happening for me, but like as the weeks have gone on,
you didn't like Joe Hendry at first.
Yeah, the weeks have gone on.
Him now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's something about him like
he's great.
But then I also like, and I hate big dudes like as in like the muscle bound superhero types. But Justin Sizem's moveset, man.
He's great.
The moveset, dude.
For a bigger guy as well.
Like the stuff he does, man. It's insane.
He's great. Maxted and Cruz enter. So Nathan Cruz is obviously Maxted's tag team partner, and Maxted is due to appear in this match. They enter with a cheeky slap on the bum. Did you enjoy that cheeky slap on the bum, Dom?
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. It was great.
Also, like hearing Nathan Cruz speak on the TV, and I was just like, that's from Hull, yes.
Nathan Cruz, if you don't know, is from Hull, so you're getting a little bit of our accent.
His accent, I was just like, that's so cool, man.
It was good. Joe Hendry comes in, he's got the pyro.
Joe Hendry.
I wish to just let him sing on the entrance.
Yeah.
I think that would make it slightly better. I don't know why they're not.
He's so like, I love the way he looks.
Miming.
I love the way he looks at the camera and he's like,
oh, he's great.
It's
hey,
cool.
baby. He's great. After the two get in, and then Sizem comes out. After they all get into the ring, Nathan Cruz gets the mic and says that after he's seen these two pairs of whoppers, I love the language on, on 5 o'clock TV. After he's seen these two pairs of whoppers in the ring, Adam Maxted should let Nathan wrestle, as his handsome face shouldn't be put into danger.
And I like everybody, you know.
Would you do that for me, Dom?
I feel like I would, you know what I mean?
Thanks,
I feel like
man.
our bromance is similar.
Yeah, good.
I feel like, you know, I feel like you would take one for me if I needed to.
Yeah, sometimes he does stroke my leg in the podcast. You've done that once or twice, yeah. Yeah, just like, that was a good point, Anthony. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Nice little...
Pat on the head without actually patting on the head yet. The start. So Nathan Cruz is in the match instead, which I thought was a good decision. Nathan Cruz is great. Cruz is double teamed from Sizem and Hendry. After being put out of the ring, Hendry and Sizem go at it, including a really big collision with the middle of the two of them, in the middle of the ring with the two of them, which looks really rough, man. It looked great. An impressive crossbody from Sizem. I'm saying an impressive crossbody. What? But it was.
Yeah, man, he's so good.
It was really good.
Like,
really
right
neat.
now, like, you know, I'm doing it again, like the WWE ready types, you know, the ones you could see. It'd be Sizem, Grado. I think Hendry's around there and thereabouts. He's on that thing.
Kirby.
Obviously, I don't know about Kirby, man.
Yeah, Kirby's there, man.
What would you do with him in WWE?
I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But anyway, like,
I'm
looking at, you know, you're looking at talents, and Sizem just has it.
Sizem's great. Sizem is awesome. He's he's in Hull in September. At the NGW show, yeah. So if you're in Hull, go and see the NGW show. I think it's September or October, maybe.
Lovely, there you go.
Cool, there you go. Against Nathan Cruz, actually.
Wow.
I think it is. An impressive crossbody from Sizem. Right, so this impressive crossbody, this is like a steamboat crossbody. This is actually impressive. It was great. He then starts taking advantage of Sizem, using the ropes as that sort of thing that we'd seen in the first in the Will Ospreay match, where they were using the weight on the ropes. That was really nice. Something that WWF don't do as much. Going into a belly to belly, that was sweet. A really nice move where Sizem does a sunset flip onto Hendry,
and then the German,
who is holding Nathan Cruz at the time. Man. The two go back, and it's formed into a German suplex.
That was. Yeah.
I think Dom probably liked that because he just got as excited as when you see the Velveteen Dream. And that is amazing. I mean, that is the sort of stuff that I'm not a fan of triple threats in general. I don't like the one person going on the ring.
And the dynamic between these three, were really good, good.
When a triple threat's done well and it incorporates all three of the performers in stuff like that, you know, there's so many guys in NXT right now that have put on amazing triple threats, and I respect that. Really nice move. Hendry locks Cruz into the Hendry lock at this point, but Sizem stops him from tapping out, catching his hand as it's going down. We've seen that in one of the old pay-per-views that we've reviewed. I think it could have been Demolition or something like that. Someone stopping someone else going down, that's tapping out, which is really cool. Sizem does a perfect plex to Hendry for the pin. It's a great move for him, man.
Excuse me, it was quick. Very quick, but
it makes sense for Sizem. Sizem feels almost perfect, you know. I imagine Sizem would be a great heel as well.
It's a very nice amalgamation between a lot of guys we talk about on the Wrestling Rewind portion of the show. Model Rick Martel and Mr. Perfect type vibe.
Yeah. Wrestling Rewind. That's on YouTube. If you go back, there's a nice playlist. Check it out. Max said,
check it out.
Saves a pin attempt from Hendry onto Cruz. Really nice.
Didn't he? There was a moment. It's like he's tapping out and stuff. I love that. That was a nice little moment in this match. One of the favourite things I've seen in recent wrestling as a whole. Was tapping out or he's about to tap out and it stops him with his hand.
He grabs the hand. That's what I just thought about. Yeah, we've seen it in some of the Wrestling Rewind stuff, and that's why I mentioned it. Yeah, no, it's great. Hendry tries to attack Cruz in the corner, but gets thrown onto the outside, followed by Sizem, who connects quite roughly, I thought, with Hendry's head as he sort of went down. It was an impressive looking spot, but I thought it sort of left Hendry out of the match actually for the rest of the match, but that's fine. Sizem goes up to the entrance ramp and dives up to Nathan Cruz for a spear.
Oh, the spear, right? Yeah, man.
This is a spear,
mind-blowing,
from the floor,
from the ramp,
from the ramp, diving up through the second rope whilst connecting with Nathan Cruz as a spear. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't really referred to my notes too much because I've been just talking. enjoying talking to you, but there was a note I made. I was like, I bet if someone from WWE you can bet is watching World of Sport, someone on the research team, and someone
will see that.
Someone be like, right, Vince, you need to tell Reigns to do this at SummerSlam. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, right,
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Yeah. Cool. But it was really impressive. It was really, and I've never seen it before. Yeah, I've seen spears from the apron a lot of times, but never that. That was great. He then goes for his 450 splash, which is his general finisher, but Maxted distracts him. Cruz sneaks behind him, but as Maxted goes to hit Sizem, he dives out the way, causing him to nearly hit Cruz. We have that whole thing, that Shawn Michaels, Rick Martel thing of don't hit my face, because it's which is great. I love their dynamic. I think it's wonderful. And then Justin Sizem, they call it a discus clothesline, but it's not really, is it? It's like, dude, what is it?
R-Truth does it, right? But Sizem does it better. Like, I think it's called like, it's not like an airplane spin, but it's a spinning.
They called it a discus clothesline. It wasn't. It was like a so he's like spinning in the air whilst clotheslining.
Let me try and find it, because there's R-Truth does it, but Sizem makes it look incredible,
and it looked great, and it was a great ending to the match as well, because that's what ends the match with Sizem getting the pin on Nathan Cruz. Then we get a view of next week with the double tag team semi-finals that are coming up, and that's the end of the episode, really. So we'll come up with our review of it once you absolutely. Have you found it?
I can't find. Hang on, R-Truth. I just need to find, because it's a brilliant. Like I said, there's got to be a reference for it, and it's probably really easy. It's probably really simple.
Go on to the World of Sport and check out the ending to this match. Go watch World of Sport. It was a really entertaining episode, actually. I think there was 2 great matches in the episode.
I think it's just called a spinning clothesline.
They did refer to it as a discus clothesline, but it was more than a discus clothesline, because he was spinning in the air as he hit the clothesline, which was just awesome.
But you can see it, like, R-Truth does it, but Sizem does it, like, to the point where, you wouldn't believe it as R-Truth as a finisher, but it's still brilliant. It still looks amazing. Yeah. And for a guy of R-Truth's age and well, to be fair, R-Truth is pretty built. But Sizem makes it look like a legit finisher.
Incredible. 2 great matches in this pay-per-view. The female match wasn't given enough time, and sort of all the story was a bit confusing. The tag team match I didn't enjoy. I thought the Grado bits were funny, but in general, that sort of dynamic between Creator and Robbie X, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically going to lead to a Creator destruction of Robbie X.
Yeah, Creator next week is facing 2 opponents. I don't know if that's jobbers or not. They didn't show any footage of it, so we'll just have to see what happens there.
Robbie X will come out or something, or they'll try and do a few.
Yeah, do you think Robbie X is going to do that? I think
there's going to be. You pitched that, I think, because
I said about Liam Slater. I thought Liam Slater would be better than that, but maybe it will be Robbie X, and that'd be fine as well. If Robbie X is the person to overcome Creator in the end, that'd be cool. But there was 2 incredible matches that were really great. We had a triple threat where there was actually using triple threat rules in a really dynamic and interesting way, and we had the Will Ospreay and Martin Kirby match, which was great. I mean, it was a really great match for free TV. This is pretty phenomenal, man.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan for sure.
Best match?
Man,
I'm going to go with Kirby and Ospreay.
Yeah, Kirby and Ospreay.
Yeah. Best performer?
Ospreay.
Yeah, it's got to be Ospreay. Even though I think Kirby did amazing, I thought Sizem did amazing.
In terms of a heel performance, Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby was great. Kirby was great. And how many gay stars are you giving this?
I'm going to give this 3 out
Dave
of 5.
Meltzer?
I'm going to give this 3.
3?
Don't call me Meltzer, it's a dirty word.
But you are like Meltzer.
Why?
Because you're judging people via a star system.
But I'm better at it. and I'm nicer with it.
I'm going to say 3.5 stars because I thought it was a really great episode. And I think it was, we just need a clear direction for Creator. But I also like Stu Bennett didn't feel as big a part of this. He really didn't this week. That's good. Keep it up.
Cool.
So yeah, that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed the video, please comment, let us know what you
subscribe.
Think. Have a look at our Facebook and buy stuff on Redbubble. Whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, keep it gay, and don't forget you can rewind this. Obviously, it's a Facebook Live video, but you can rewind it if you missed it. And yeah, comment. I'll leave comments, and this has been a really long outro, so keep it gay.